This past Monday, on Martin Luther King Day, Kamala Harris became the sixth official person to announce her candidacy to seek the presidency in 2020 against Donald Trump. Kamala Harris would be the first big-name player in politics to seek the presidency this term, officially at least, because Warren and Gillibrand are still in their exploratory committee phases and have not officially announced that they will be seeking the presidency. There really isn't a whole lot that's known legislatively about Kamala Harris. She was elected to the Senate in 2016 as a member of the minority party in the Senate, so she doesn't really have a lot of major legislation under her belt yet at this point. She would probably be completely unknown as a senator nationally at this point, except for the Kavanaugh hearings, in which she was very harsh in grilling Brett Kavanaugh throughout the entirety of the hearings. Let's look back at that and have a reminder of what that looked like.
Judge, have you ever discussed Special Counsel Mueller or his investigation with anyone?
Well, it's in the news every day.
Have you discussed it with anyone?
With other judges, I know.
Have you discussed Mueller or his investigation with anyone at Kasowitz, Benson, and Torres, the law firm founded by Mark Kasowitz, President Trump's personal lawyer? Be sure about your answer, sir.
Well, I'm not remembering, but if you have something you want to...
Are you certain you've not had a conversation with anyone at that law firm?
Kasowitz, Benson.
Kasowitz, Benson, and Torres, which is the law firm founded by Mark Kasowitz, who is President Trump's personal lawyer. Have you had any conversation about Robert Mueller or his investigation with anyone at that firm? Yes or no?
Well, is there a person you're talking about?
I'm asking you a very direct question, yes or no. Who'd you talk to?
I don't think I'm not remembering, but I'm happy to be refreshed, or if you want to tell me who you're thinking of who works.
Are you saying that with all that you remember, you have an impeccable memory? You've been speaking for almost 8 hours, I think more, with this committee about all sorts of things you remember. How can you not remember whether or not you had a conversation about Robert Mueller or his investigation with anyone at that law firm? This investigation has only been going on for so long, sir. So
right,
please
I'm not
answer
sure.
the question.
I'm just trying to think. Do I know anyone who works at that firm? I might know.
Have you had? That's not my question. My question is, have you had a conversation with anyone at that firm about that investigation? It's a really specific question.
I would like to know the person you're thinking of, because what if there's...
I think you're thinking of someone and you don't want to tell us.
Harris got to this point by filling a vacated seat in the Senate that had previously been held by Barbara Boxer. She defeated fellow Democrat Loretta Sanchez to get the seat, and prior to that she had been the Attorney General for California. Immediately prior to that, she had been the DA for Los Angeles County, so she does have some electoral success behind her before reaching the Senate. While we don't really have a record as to how Harris would legislate or how she would be as an executive, because we don't really have any record of anything that she's legislated on, we can look back at some of her past cases as California Attorney General and try and use that as a measure as to how she would be in the executive position of the nation and how she would want to carry out the laws. And one of the big marks that sticks out on her record was Kamala Harris's integral part of Prop 8 in California. For those who are not familiar, Proposition 8 was a ballot initiative in California that would have defined marriage as a union between a man and a woman. Harris was instrumental in getting this in front of a federal judge and getting struck down as unconstitutional, which a lot of conservatives, a lot of pundits, and a lot of lawmakers out there correctly point out would be against the 10th Amendment, marriage not being defined in any of the other 9 amendments or the articles that preceded that amendment in the Constitution. This reliance on the federal government to impose laws when it can't be done at a state level has the potential to alienate voters in Middle America, especially in places like Wyoming and Kansas that barely have any representation in the House of Representatives. Additionally, with the Senate being under almost constant attack for giving a voice to these smaller states, Harris is going to have a hard road going across Middle America trying to sell her message. But that's not going to be the only issue that's presented as Harris goes across Middle America. If we look at Harris's 2016 Senate race, we quickly realize the fact that she's never run against a Republican for anything. Her Senate opponent, Loretta Sanchez, was a Democrat, and they were both vying to fill a seat that was vacated by a Democrat as well. This is something that's going to be a hard road for her going across Middle America, especially with all of the voters that Hillary Clinton alienated with her deplorables comment across the country. When you're in California running against a Democrat, you're both running to see who can be the furthest to the left and appeal to the most left-leaning people. But now Harris has to try and sell her message to people who are either center or lean to the right even, trying to pull back some of the voters that went for Trump because the left was moving so far to the left. Kamala Harris has a very hard fight ahead of her if she wants to see herself at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in 2021, and that is based just solely on what we already know about her. But as the Attorney General for California and the District Attorney for Los Angeles County, there's a long record of cases that Kamala Harris has tried to prosecute. And that's a good measure as to how she interprets the law and how she will plan to execute the law if she is promoted to an executive branch position such as the presidency. And I'm sure there's a lot of other dirt out there that people are scrounging to find right now in order to help the candidate that they support rise to the top. Things that could be brought up in a debate, things that can be put onto a commercial for mudslinging, and just basic things that can be spread around social media as rumors. And as we saw in the video clip in the beginning of this video, Kamala Harris herself is very talented at digging down and trying to find dirt on her opponents as well. So she is going to be a contender herself in throwing the mud back at the people who dare to oppose her and trying to bring them down as well. We already knew this was going to be an interesting election cycle, and the official entrance of Kamala Harris into it only makes it more interesting and a lot more fun to watch going forward. What do you think about the fact that Kamala Harris is officially running, and what do you think her chances are going into 2020? I always welcome a thoughtful and positive discussion in the comment section below, and especially over on Twitter, that is at EdsBlogTwitter with a 1 in place of the I. Thanks as always for listening to this show and supporting this channel, and remember, never take the words of bloggers, podcasters, or journalists as gospel. Find all the facts and draw your own conclusions. Take care.
You're always there.